Welcome everybody back to another Boldcast reaction. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Carson.
And today we are watching Haikyuu Season 2, Episode 7, What Happened Last Time.
I don't know.
Oh, your whole job and you don't even remember. No, last time was the episode where they were training up separately. Everyone's doing their own thing. It was a little bit of a, not necessarily slower, but it was still very entertaining and very nice, but I'm excited for this episode where hopefully everything's gonna come together. Hinata and Kageyama are gonna try out their new spiking techniques and hopefully be able to, get to see everything in action in this next training camp.
I saw the title. Do you want to know what it is?
Sure.
Are you sure? Because I think it spoils
Okay, maybe not.
Okay, never mind. I saw the title. I think I know who this is about, but we'll see.
Okay.
I'm excited for that, for those who, I guess, know what I mean.
All right, well, hope you like it, hope you subscribe, support the official release, come here to hear what we have to say, not to watch the show for free. You can check out our Patreon to get a week ahead. Let's go.
前回お前ら遅刻だったもんな。細胞はいいよね。どこでも寝られてさ。早朝に向こうへ到着予定です。運転は僕と鵜飼君がしたらすまん。お願いします。
Sorry if I know off
at
while
the
driving.
wheel.
Yeah.
Oh, screaming. Thank you!
ひなたと影山、ここんとこ欲しようかな。
If this episode is about Tsukushima, then that would be cool.
Do you want to know the title?
Is it about him?
It's Moon Rises, or Moonrise.
Oh, okay. But we've been waiting for so long. Like, you can just tell the character development is imminent.
No!
宮城には鉄塔ないの。あの会話デジャブるんだけど。東京にある鉄塔は大体東京タワーに見えるんだよ。違う。おい、それ暴言。ここ埼玉だ。タワーじゃない。この子。
He didn't even know! What?
夏らしくはいつも親善で牛がすごいけど。新第一声からたった2週間で伸びるか。俺は2ミリの。
I was just gonna say, well, I did.
You ever get that fear where you feel like you're watching season 3 somehow, and I'm just like, did we like skip something?
No.
No, he was expecting a quick.
Yeah. Oh.
Or wait, was it too short? Was it actually
It
too
was
short?
too short. Because he was trying to make it not go farther.
I thought Hinata was just, he was like taken aback by it. Oh yeah, he was.
He hasn't actually practiced. Yeah.
They're gonna level up here right now, and it's gonna be epic.
It's gonna take a little bit. Yeah, they're off. Ooh.
But it touched the net, isn't that a thing?
I don't think so.
If it touches the net? I don't know. There's like a rule with that.
I don't think so.
He's so hot now. What happened? He's different.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Ooh, the serve.
Nice up.
Aw, it's out.
His discs have so much impact.
Everyone's like is so out of it. Everyone's like, what the fuck?
They just try to do a synchronized attack.
Yeah. Ooh, this one. No. They're trying out all this crazy shit. It's just not quite.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like on the verge
growing
of
pains.
greatness.
Omnivorous.
Mm-hmm. Oh no. Refreshing sprint up the grassy hill.
What was that interaction?
They lost all of their games. It receives.
Sounds very familiar.
I'm trying to get them all riled up.
Like the little beetle. You see that? This is one guy, dude.
Yeah.
Lev is fucked up.
That looks so good.
finally got to the episode you've been waiting for with all the watermelon.
Yes.
昔いっぱい食ったよ。あー、すまん。なんだ。オタクのメガネ君の機嫌。あの月島の成り行きとはいえ、自主練に何か言ったの？オタクのチビちゃんに負けちゃうよ。とに月島は。
This is such a beautiful day.
I've definitely noticed like
その日向が光栄に回って何にしのぐのが僕の役目。いいことじゃないですか。それ関係あるかわかんないですけど。例えばさ、あ？合宿の試合の時名前聞こえたのからそのに。
His older brother probably was on the other team.
月島ってやつさ、兄ちゃんいない？知らねえよ。ガラスのにいた時、つまりダンバレが一番強かった時頃。そう、その頃のバレーって気がするんだよね。月島の兄貴。
yeah, I bet he was really invested and then maybe
Couldn't go
go
further.
further after
Probably.
high school.
Probably.
Well, they're doing slightly better every time, getting like one more point every time.
Sorry, I'm not saying very much this episode. I'm really enjoying the vibe. The really chilled out vibe of this episode.
前よりサーブいい感じになってきたな。ありがとう。嫌じゃないんですか。強烈な才能が迫ってくる感じ。ああ、心は休まらない。まだエースって肩書きにこだわった今のままじゃダメだって言い。まあおかげで俺も他の連中も火がついたから。また集中しすぎた日向に噛みつかれます。あは、スパイクに飛んだ時見つかったのはポジションが役割的に日向とライダーだった日向が日に日に成長するのを人一倍感じるんだ。負けるつもりはないよ。
Yeah, Suki, you're focusing a little. I think you're focusing on the wrong thing here. There's a lot of positive that's coming out of this.
Yeah, Hinata getting better is the team getting better, and it's up to you to
And inspiring
to-
everyone. Yeah. If you're focusing on
If
like
you don't
the,
want to lose to him, then don't lose to him. You have other things that you can do that he can't do.
点を取っていても100点を目指さないんだよな。月島は決を求めてるわけじゃないけど、置かれていくならレギュラー変えることになる。チーム一の長身だ。月島がブロックの要になってレベルがぐっと上がるんだけどな。
Oh.
気合入ってますね。みんな今に満ちて
Mm-hmm.
怖いくらいでさ。接触は大怪我につながる可能性。
That's true. Nice.
And they got the point. Yes. See, that's Hinata's fucking. He's getting it, dude. He's learned how to grow without like trying to steal the spotlight. Exactly. Yeah. That's awesome.
いらなかったからね。
They still lost.
We're getting a lot of great exercise. Yeah, he's like so. Yeah, because everyone else has been doing all this extra practice and extra training. They're way more in shape than he is.
I don't think Suki realizes how good of a friend he has beside him all the time.
Yeah.
I think he needs to wake up.
Yeah. I also think
Yamaguchi's really good to him.
yeah, it's really sad because he's not a starting player, and his best friend, who literally doesn't even try, gets to play every fucking game.
Yeah.
And he got to go
He's
in
not
one
trying to.
time.
He's not spending after hours going to some fucking grocery store
Yeah.
to talk to an alumni and hit a ball down a fucking alleyway for like 3 hours every night after club. Like, you know, I'm sure he's not bitter about it, but it still is like, you know, maybe a little bit disheartening to see that. He knows the ace? Oh, he knows him? His brother knew him, maybe?
No, it's because he was asking to come block with him again.
Oh, right. Right, yeah. Yeah.
日向なら今の月になんて言う？あ？影山とかやつさんの時何も言わないけど。だって月島わかんねえもん。
Yeah.
やりたくないやつに仕方ないじゃん。
I like his shirt. And he's so tall, too.
Yeah.
And he's still really light. He's all like, he's really thin, aerodynamic.
山口は月島になんて言う
It's really sad.
It is sad.
This was such a good episode. Man, I just want to watch the ending real quick. And then we'll talk about it. Next time on IQ. Holy shit. Gonna be a great episode next time, just judging by that one frame.
Yeah.
But this episode is... it's a weird feeling. And it's a little specific, so I'm sorry if this is like a really dumb thing to say, but it's like, this reminded me of watching this episode, and the feeling I got while watching this episode really reminded me of like, I've said it before with the show, but really reminded me of when I first started watching anime, and really, like, I just got this feeling of like being cozy in the summer of like 2015, and I'm like sitting down, I'm watching my show, and it's just really enjoyable. It's really chill, but it doesn't feel thin. It doesn't like, I think that's the difference. Is there's so much of the kind of things that they talk about in episodes like this. It feels very fluid and very deep. It doesn't feel like I can see right past it into the animation studio and into like the draft room for the manga or whatever. Like, I can't see somebody like, you know, writing a treatment for a script, for a manuscript, for a, you know, a production somewhere. I can really feel like it's like I was there when they were all like having the watermelon, especially. That scene for some reason really hit me, like, and it was just so good. Like the way they're all just sitting out in the sun on the grass, like all practicing. They're all there. They're all being really passionate.
Yeah,
it was just really
it's
nice.
like the tastiest watermelon ever, and like the fresh cut grass.
It reminded me of like
the
track and
breeze.
field
Yeah,
day, you know,
exactly.
like that kind of shit when in school, when like at the end of the year or halfway through the year or whatever. Not halfway through the year here, more closer to the end of the year in Canada. But I don't know. It just, the vibe of this was just so strong for me for some reason. It's just like a normal episode, but
this one,
something about how they showed everything.
This one and last one, they really got the like normal life, like very like slice of lifey,
but
like,
not like boring.
No, not boring. Yeah, I don't know.
You know,
it's interesting. It's not like we're in Clannad and we're gardening for 3 episodes.
Yeah.
We're like really here with all the characters. Every time they show something, it's not just for like the sake of showing something. Like everything is very relevant, even if they are just eating watermelon and like spitting out seeds, and like you know Hinata's trying to spit out the seeds, and it's like that is showing their relationship developing as rivals and as friends.
And I love that he like sat with them as well, because like they don't get to hang out all the time. Like that's just that detail of how he's spending more time with like getting to know Lev, and how they were so dramatic like when they were when they met that one time at night, but now they're just hanging out like they're kids, because they are, and like he's hanging out with Kenma because he and Kenma have like a weirdly close relationship, but they don't get to see each other that often. It just feels very natural and very true to life. It feels very high school and innocent, but still kind of serious enough, but like you just get that like potential.
It's like that's kind of the point. Like, not only is the point of something like this to get better at volleyball, half of the point is to meet other people, and like by doing that, kind of expand your worldview and have more people like that you know and can talk to. Like you're hanging out with people from a different school that grew up in a different city than you, and you know.
And I think what added to that sense in the episode was the scene with the other schools practicing with each other after hours. You know, like just that thing of like Tsuki's just walking away after his practice, and you're like, oh well, our team's practicing. That's what we're focusing on. This is the Crossino volleyball show named Haikyuu. It's about our team. It's whatever. And we might get into other things here and there, but like the scene of just Tsuki going away, and he walks out of the gym, you're like, okay, well, we're maybe gonna get like a scene of his backstory or inner monologue or something, and then he comes across members of other teams like practicing together, just practicing, and like the whole. That's when it really felt like, because I think in season 1, because it's so much about setting the stakes and introducing everything, and really trying to make it feel compelling at such a low level of like sportsmanship. In this, everything's established, and there's not that need in this training camp or the last one. The fact that like 2 training camps weeks apart have passed and it feels like no time at all. It feels like everything's just kind of rolling, and it feels very fluid and natural. But because there's not this intense thing of like, oh, this competition, and it's like in season 1, it still felt like a training match. But when they were fighting Nekoma, it really felt really intense when they when they met up with Aoba Josai for the practice match. But in this, just like walking around after time, they're not even in a game. It's just like they're just talking and hanging out because they've like met each other and are like they're just from different schools and playing volleyball, and they just enjoy the sport and want to practice with each other, and it's just so normal. It's just so normal, and there's no like there's a competitive like spirit there, but they're not being competitive like practicing their spikes or their serves or blocking or whatever. They just choose to like hang out and do that. It's just so normal. Like it just feels so normal and not like stressful or competitive or intense at all. It was just so normal and good and productive.
Yeah. What I will say also is that when Tsukishima is walking alone at night and then he goes into the place where other people are practicing, it's interesting as well, because he thinks, like, I don't know what he thinks. He doesn't want to get too invested, but he sees his entire team is invested, as well as all these other teams that are better, and the way that they're acting, like there's 2 different teams in there, but they want each other to get better, because then they can get better, because when you're in a rivalry, if the other person is just so much worse than you, why should you spend the time for them to be your rival when you could be against someone stronger and get better?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. It's like, if their spikes get better, your blocks can get better because you have to block their spikes that are now at the new level.
Yeah.
And they want Karasuno to get to that level with them as well. They're trying out all these new moves and stuff. They're just on like the verge, and everyone can see that there's one player that's kind of the weak link there, and not like ascending the team to.
And not that he doesn't have the potential or the skill to rise to that occasion. He's just choosing not to because of whatever fear he has from his brother. And if I have a theory on that, it's based on what Saiko was saying, and based on the one still frame we got from like that flash or whatever from Tsukishima. It seems like his brother was possibly on the team with the Little Giant, and maybe when they were like moving on to university volleyball or some sort of, I guess we've had comments that say it's not the same thing as like in the States, how a lot of like professional sports work, where you go from high school to college football or whatever sport, and then to the professional league, you get drafted. It's more like you go from high school directly to the pro league, I guess, because it's on a slightly smaller scale, because obviously in the States and in North America, it's like all these sports are way fucking bigger deal than anywhere else in the world. It's such a huge thing. But so I don't know, but maybe Tsukishima's older brother got passed over because maybe his older brother and the Little Giant had a very similar relationship as Hinata and he does, where Hinata's job is to like be the one that shines and then eventually go on to play professionally, whereas Tsukishima, he knows that in the position that he is, maybe being a blocker and not the one who's like jumping high and getting the spike and shit, he's not the shining star of the group. He's just the one that takes the place and sort of shakes things up so that Hinata could go in and score the points. And maybe his brother was in a similar position with the Little Giant, and because of like whatever arbitrary rules were, or arbitrary criterion were used to judge each of them moving on or getting drafted to whatever team or moving on to whatever university that had a good deal for that type of thing, or whatever opportunity was ahead of them. Maybe his older brother was passed over and didn't get to play anymore, or got injured or something, or something like that.
Yeah.
They mention every time Tsukishima's on screen they always mention his arms getting snapped, or like he's so frail, it looks like his arm's gonna be snapped. There was talk of injury in other ways in this episode, so maybe that's like sort of seeding the theme of that, of like wasted potential because of injury or whatever. Maybe they'll bring that up in Tsukishima's older brother's backstory when he gets to that. But yeah, I also had this thing. Is there anything you want to say on that? Because I have something more to say.
No, you can keep going.
I said it during the episode, but that's another thing. But Tsukishima, oh shit, I forgot. God damn it, I hate when this happens. Yeah, basically, one, Yamaguchi's a really good friend, and when Tsukishima's a dick, he's being kind of the one consistent douchebag the whole time, and the show, I'm interested. It's interesting from my perspective on looking at myself watching the show, because this is the first time that like we've seen somebody. It's very because maybe it's because of the reaction or whatever, but I always go like to the furthest conclusion of like, this guy's a piece of shit. What thing can I say to like make fun of them, or like make it a joke, or make it just a funny thing, rather than, because I know that there's gonna be some kind of change. You know, you always know that there's always two sides of the story. That's the whole point. But this is the first time where I like really stopped myself before I did that and was like, I wonder why. Like I'm always kind of wondering why, but I'm more like assuming that something is going to be taking place in terms of like he has some backstory that justifies his behavior or whatever. But this is the first time that I've kind of stopped myself and was really like, I could say something really dumb and make fun of him, and I'm not gonna do it because I'm actually interested. Like, you know, what is his story? What is he feeling? I don't know. I just noticed that in myself, that I was really a lot more concerned with the emotions of the character rather than an overall like sort of view of the character, I guess. I don't know. I was just really taken by this episode's sort of feeling in general. It was just really good. And I really hope that Yamaguchi, I hope that this story does not just gloss over Yamaguchi, because he's quickly, with every shot we get of him looking concerned, like he's quickly becoming one of my favorite characters in the show.
Yeah. I know, I'm like, he's so on the sidelines.
Maybe it's because he looks like Hachiman from Origairu. But either way, I really like him. I like him on the sidelines. I've always since his serve, I think, or since he started trading for his serve, slowly I've been warming up to him, and I really like his character. I
think what makes him so good as well is that, yeah, he is such a good friend. He's more concerned. It must be hard for him to be in the position that he's in, but instead of like being mad at his friend, he is concerned and is constantly trying to invite him, like, subtly, because he's not, it seems like he's not quite sure, you know, where he stands, and like often doesn't quite ask directly, like, oh, do you want to come do this with me? Yeah. Because before we saw him, oh, I'm gonna go practice. Yeah. You know, and then just no response. And then in this episode, he asked, do you want to practice with me? And then he said no. And it's just, you can tell he's getting concerned, and because he's on the sidelines, he's not like in any of the other groups as much, so he's like hearing them talk like, oh yeah, you know, we might have to take him off the starting line if this is, we need him on the team because he's tall, but he's just not really out there to win. Yeah, he has a lot of potential, and that's what, like, Hinata said the same thing. It's just like, if I was this tall, he constantly says it. He said it last season too, of like, if I was that tall, I could rule the fucking world, basically. And yeah, but Tsukishima is sort of, I imagine he's kind of, he's probably a bit daunted by that, because of, obviously very much because of his brother, but also because, you know, it sucks to put so much effort into stuff just to fail and get hurt. It's a really difficult thing, especially when you have so much potential, when it's so easy for you to just, like, if it would be so easy for him to just, you know, fucking take the world by storm, but what would that leave him when it's over? And I bet he's really afraid of that. But yeah, Yamaguchi's such a good friend. Whenever I look at him, I'm just like, he's like, Tsukishima better fucking wake up, because volleyball or not, you're like really not understanding
how great of a friend you have right here.
Yeah.
It's kind of
When no
disgusting.
one else really wants to be your friend.
Yeah, everyone else
because of
thinks
the
you're
way
an
you are,
asshole.
yeah.
And but he's willing to he's taking every opportunity to try and include you. He's really passionate, but he's like imagine like Yamaguchi's really afraid. Yamaguchi is has the same fear as Tsukishima, I bet, a similar one where, you know, but the only difference is he's not as tall. He's not as gifted as
really
Tsukishima.
Stand out. Well, that's,
He doesn't
that's
have-
the thing.
he's
he
not-
didn't have anything.
So he's learning
he
to
went
serve,
and
exactly.
made something.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing. If Tsukishima is worried about getting overshadowed by Hinata, do what everyone else.
But
on the
again,
team
that's
is-
not the problem.
That's not the
That's not
I
the
guess
problem.
What I'm saying is, if he tried, like everyone else, like, you know, Asahi is like, oh yeah, Hinata is kind of coming for my thing, so what did I do? I fucking learned how to do a killer serve.
Yeah.
And now I have 2 things.
Yeah.
Like, Hinata's gonna have 2 things, so we're both still essential for the team.
Yeah.
And if you can't, you're barely half-assing the one thing that you can do, you know?
But again, that's not the problem. The problem is a psychological thing. It has nothing to do with his game or that he's like, he can't figure out what he knows what he has to do. He knows what he could do. He knows the path, but he just doesn't see the point in putting in the effort because it's a high school club and it's going to be over someday. And is it better to have loved and lost than to have never have loved at all is the question he's kind of dealing with. And he's thinking, no, it's probably not better considering what my brother went through. It's probably not better. It's probably better just to, you know, I guess get my physical activity in, enjoy my time here, put in the bare minimum effort, and then go home and fucking do whatever I want. Because I gotta be in some club, and this is easy for me. But it must, I wonder how their relationship is going to evolve. I wonder, this is probably going to be a relatively short character arc. I doubt they're going to spend the whole season on this.
Yeah.
It would be cool if they did and made him more of a bigger player and made this relationship bigger. But I doubt they will. I bet we'll spend a few episodes sort of going in and out of this. We've kind of seeded this over the course of the whole series so far. But I wonder how far the story will take their relationship. Will Yamaguchi be a little bit more curt? Will he go from like the really supportive friend to tough love at some point when Tsukishima for like the millionth time is like not giving it his all, and Yamaguchi is just gonna be like, you know how fucking hard I'm trying? Do you have any idea how terrible it felt to have my one thing in the fucking semifinals of the Inter High tournament completely fall flat and fail and to disappoint everybody after, you know, I spent all my time trying to train this one thing and it failed, and I'm still trying to give it my all. I still pick myself up and I'm still trying to be really good. And you have everything ahead of you. You have so much more potential than me, and you're fucking wasting it. And why? Because you're afraid? Is he gonna have one of those speeches, or is he too afraid to do that and it's gonna be even more tragic like that? It's just gonna be sad. It's gonna be sad either way, because Yamaguchi's such a good guy.
I agree.
Yeah.
And
Good episode.
It was very good.
Really good episode this time.
You can check out our Patreon right now if you want to see the next one before it comes out on YouTube, or you can like and subscribe and stick around for the next one. Bye-bye.